I think that the denial of the tribes access to capital through leverage, maintaining a safe but manageable capital to debt ratio or asset to debt ratio. I mean, conservatively, I mean, in the state of Oklahoma, with all 39 tribes, if you took all the clinics and hospitals and administration buildings and gymnasiums and casinos and all those things that tribes have invested, there's probably easily $10 billion of unencumbered collateral that community banks would loan to tribes if tribes had good credit rating and had a history of managing their funds well, and could get a Moody's, triple B or an A on the securities that those loans went into. Getting to that stage, though, takes a good deal of effort, and someone whose intent in managing those investments is to improve the tribe's access to credit and capital. We bought First National Bank when it was in a double-wide trailer house on a gravel parking lot, and it was a $14 million asset bank. We're up to well over $300 million in assets now, and we have a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, with $74 million in lending capital, and the two of them work together to finance business opportunities for our people, and all the way down to a program that provides for an employee that needs transportation. We'll finance a car for them that we buy from Enterprise Rent-A-Car that's been gone through by our mechanics, and we'll put them on a payroll deduction. And because absenteeism and being late to work is usually a function of poor transportation. I've had cars like that, but the whole business of creating a better environment for the people that work for us, something we started doing very early in the early 80s was critical path or SWOT analysis kinds of planning, where we would go in and as a group in each department, and then as a tribal government, we'd sit down in a place where we wouldn't be disturbed and spend at least 2 full days analyzing the strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats that our government or our programs faced. And we started doing it at the bank as well. And that planning didn't just help us on getting the things on the right path, but everyone who participated in the planning process knew what we were doing. I mean, the problem is if you sit down with all your managers and explain to all of them, here's what we're going to do, and then the managers go back and explain to the supervisors go back and explain it to the workers, and you ever played that game where you tell someone a secret and then it'd go around the room, and by the time it got around the room it was completely different? Well, that's the way it went with our planning process. So we decided to involve as many people as possible in our critical path analysis and our SWOT analysis, and that has served us well for a very long time. We also are really, really conscious of gender balance. I believe that organizations with too many men, it turns into a football locker room, and with too many women, they kill each other. But I mean, they don't get along well. It's entirely all women or all men. I think that the mix is natural, and it makes for better chemistry, and it makes for strengths and weaknesses that our old religious ways where a woman was weak, a man was strong, where a man was weak, a woman was strong, and I think those things carry through. I believe that happens in the workplace. And so we work pretty hard at that, and we work at having equality in pay, that there isn't a gender imbalance in compensation. Unfortunately, we have, when it comes to getting bulldozer drivers or track hoes or heavy equipment, we don't get as many women, and we don't get as many men in the accounting department. So we work at that one, but there are some that are hard to balance. But and we try to do the whole objective to our economic development scheme is that we're sitting with 2,500 employees. We're sitting there paying out millions of dollars in payroll, and that money was not turning over in our economy. It went straight into the non-Indian economy and turned over 3 or 4 times and enhanced that economy. So we started building grocery stores in areas where we had population and workers, and places of entertainment and other kinds of services, so that the dollars would turn in our economy before they left. And our turnover, and we collect sales taxes to finance the government, and our tax base, of course, went up tremendously based on that, because our employees would rather buy from us than they would otherwise. We give them discounts and those kinds of things to induce them to buy from us. We also, make good deals for them at the bank and try to get them to work with the bank. We took every single employee that was in the hands of of one of these gangster payday loan, 300% loan guys. We took all of them. We loaned them enough money to pay those things off and got them out of the hands of these payday lenders, and sort of helped them get their credit built back up. We have a whole credit building program on getting people's credit rating back up. And we spent a lot of time in helping people to improve their financial health.
Which is so important for a nation building component or aspect.
Well, and just generally being uncomfortable. I mean, if you're sitting there worrying all day about being in a financial bind because you can't make the house payment or something, then you're not concentrating on your work. So, and also, it builds a sense of loyalty to the organization as well.